everyone. I'm Wasim Abbas, Manager Coordination from Askaria College System. Hello, Askarians. I welcome you all for the session to learn English live from England. So we have our native British teacher, Miss Donna, with us. And Miss Donna, you are the presenter now. Hand it over the session to Miss Donna, please.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the class. I hope you're having a good day so far. Today's theme for the lesson is organising a party. For those of you who joined the session last week, we did a little bit of this. We looked at how you would write a blog to give advice on hosting a party, what food you have, how you decorate the room or the table, who you invite, all of this. So this is moving this on a little bit. And today we are focusing on reading skills in particular. So you will get a chance to read a text and then I will also read it to you so you've got the correct pronunciation of all the words. As I always say at the beginning of these sessions, these webinars are demonstration lessons. So it may or may not be at the level that you currently are. You may find some of this challenging or you may find it easy. If you were in a classroom with me or you signed up for a course, then your needs would be assessed before we planned the lesson schedule. So it would be tailored to your specific needs. So with that advice there, I will share my screen with you. Okay, so you should now be able to see my screen that says organising a party. And we've got a picture of some children there who are dressed up as pirates. Okay, have a think about what makes a good party, in your opinion. What do you enjoy about parties? Talk to the people that you're sat with now and describe what makes a good party. Look at the pictures on the screen to help you. Do you expect good food, good weather, if you're outside in particular? Do you expect lots of music and a particular type of music? Or do you expect to do some dancing? Or for you, is the party about the people that you're with? And the food isn't less important and the music isn't as important. It's the people. So for you, what makes a good party? Maybe lots of cake as well. Always goes down well at a party, doesn't it? And with the food at the party, is it about having a very formal setting where everyone sits around a table? Or do you like something a little bit more informal, more relaxed, where people are just walking around and can talk to different people as the party progresses? Yeah? So lots of different types of party. And maybe it depends also on who you're with at the party. Is it a family event or is it friends event? Is it for a birthday? Is it for a wedding or an anniversary? So we have different types of parties, don't we, for different events, and some are more formal than others. Of course, we always have to be careful when we are hosting a party, and we need to think about what could go wrong. What problems might you encounter when you're organising a party or throwing a party for your family and friends? Okay, we've got 5 pictures on the screen to help you, but think about what could go wrong and talk to the people that you're sat with now. Describe the problems that might occur. Let's look at the pictures. The first one, we talked on the previous slide about needing good weather. But what if you've planned your outside party, you're having a barbecue or some kind of garden party, and the weather turns bad and it starts to rain. So that is a potential problem, isn't it? What would you do? Would you take the party inside? Would you cancel it? Would you just stay outside anyway and laugh about it? But something to think about when you're planning your party. The second picture, B, what if you have organised an amazing party and you have everything planned? You have the food, you have the music, you've maybe got games or dancing, and you sit and wait and nobody comes to your party. Nobody turns up. How would you feel about that? What would you do if that happened to you? Picture C. Oh dear, what if you've cooked your best dish, your favourite food, and everyone gets sick from your cooking or the food you've provided? How would you feel if all your family and friends suddenly became ill because of your party? And D, we talked last week about who you invite to a party, and one of the potential problems we saw was if people don't get on. If you have different groups of friends and they don't really, they're not friends with each other, or they don't like each other even. So D is arguments. What if somebody starts to argue with somebody else? What do you do? How do you stop it? How do you stop it spoiling your party, the party that you spent so much time organising? And E, for those of you who love music at your parties, what happens if suddenly there is no music? Your sound system, your speaker breaks and nobody can hear the music. How would you feel about that, and how would you deal with it? Would you rush to a neighbour's house and ask them to borrow their speakers or sound system? What would you do? Maybe you can get the guests all singing instead of listening to the music. But these are all potential problems that might happen when you've organised a party. So maybe as part of your organisation, you think about how you would deal with these problems if they occur. If they happened, what would you do? And make sure that in your planning, you make sure it doesn't happen. You make sure your food is cooked properly. You make sure that the music system, the speakers work. Make sure your invitations are very clear about the time the party starts and where it is. And if you're somewhere where the weather might change very quickly, then think of a backup for your plan. If it's outside, the weather changes, what will you do? Or it's all in the planning every time. Okay, we have a picture here of some people and some balloons. How do people normally celebrate their birthday? Birthday parties can vary a lot, can't they? Depending on the age of the person. A party for a 3-year-old is very different to to a party for a grandparent, which we will read about more in a short while. But so parties vary a lot in terms of what you do at the party and how it's organised, and also the interests of the person. Do people usually plan a birthday party for themselves? Maybe, but often family or friends will organise a party for the birthday person, and they don't tell the person that they're doing it. So what kind of party is that? Do you know what we call it in English? Well, we're planning the party as a surprise. Okay, so we do actually refer to them as a surprise party. We're going to throw a surprise party for Jane, as an example, for her birthday next week. A surprise party. Okay, let's have a look at the first part of the reading. You'll see as we go through the reading that on the left-hand side, there's little green boxes and they have a word and a definition. So it may be a word that's new to you, and we will have a look at the glossary as we go through each slide first. So we have a word in the text in the second paragraph. Originally, it's here, and originally means at first. At first. Okay, I'm going to give you a few seconds to have a read through the two paragraphs. This is the start of our reading text. So have a look through it and then I will read it to you so you can hear the correct pronunciation. Okay, let's read through it. Don't worry if there are other words you don't understand. Once we've read all of the text, we will answer some questions about it, including looking at some of the vocabulary. So for now, let's just concentrate on the reading. Last weekend, we threw a wonderful party to celebrate my grandmother's 70th birthday. The weather was perfect and more than 100 guests came to celebrate with my gran. Nothing went wrong. Originally, I wanted to throw a surprise party, but my parents didn't agree to it. When I asked why, my father just said, after a certain age, people don't like surprises so much. My mum and dad sat down with my gran and prepared a long guest list. Of course, Gran wanted to invite many people, some of whom she had not seen for a long time. So this is the next part of our reading. We've got our glossary on the left, a smartphone. Okay, we can see the word here, line 5, smartphone. You probably know what a smartphone is. It's a phone that has email and the internet. Most of us have smartphones these days, don't we? And number 3, the word is a landline. And we refer to a landline. It's the phone, a traditional phone that's attached to your house. You know, the phone that you plug into the wall. And yes, you can take calls from it. Okay. And landline is there in line 6. Okay, take a few seconds to read through it to yourself, and then I will read it to you. Okay, let's read it. As you can imagine, it's not so easy inviting older people to a party. I thought I could send an email and then call everyone on the phone. But of course, older people often don't use a smartphone. I would call the same person on their landline number at 10 a.m. No answer. Again at 3 p.m. No answer. And finally in the evening. Still no answer. After calling for a few days, I realised my grandma was right when she asked, "Why don't you just send an invitation by post?" People our age still check the post box more than our email accounts. Okay, we've got more words glossary this time. Okay. So we have cutlery, which is the collective noun for forks, knives and spoons. Together they're called cutlery. Streamers are part of your decoration. They're the long strips of coloured paper that you will hang on the wall or hang over doors or hang from the ceiling. Relieved, happy that something bad has not happened. To rent is to pay to use something for a short time. To rent, or another word, do you know another word that means the same? Another word you could use here is to hire. Yeah, to rent or to hire. And a uniform. So it's special clothes for doing a certain job. So some people wear a uniform to work, don't they? People like police officers, nurses, that kind of thing. And also we always wear uniforms for school, mostly. Okay, so everyone is wearing the same clothes, and we can identify who they are or where they're from. Okay, so take a few seconds to read the text. Okay, let's read through it. So it took me a week to write invitations and send them. After that, I called a baker to make an enormous chocolate cake, my grandmother's favourite. I also went shopping with my parents to buy paper plates, plastic cutlery, and decorations like balloons and streamers. Finally, we booked a catering company to provide food. There was no way my parents and I could make enough food for 100 guests. When the big day arrived, I woke up early. The sun was shining, so I felt relieved. After all, we were going to hold the party in our backyard. We set up the rented tables and chairs. My brothers and I spent hours decorating every inch of the garden with decorations. The caterers came at midday. They looked very smart in their black and white uniforms. Yeah, so always on the day, it's very, very busy, isn't it? This family wisely decided to call in help. 100 guests is a lot of people, isn't it? So they were probably right to ask a professional company to help them. So just one word in our glossary on this slide, exhausting. Exhausting means very tiring. So take a few seconds to read the short paragraph on the screen. Okay, let's read it. And then the guests arrived. There were people who my gran hadn't seen for many years. She felt incredibly happy and smiled from ear to ear for the whole day. The party was a great success, but I don't think I'm going to work in event management. It's too exhausting. Okay, that's the end of our reading text. So now we're going to look at some of the vocabulary that would help you if you were writing this kind of text yourself. So on the left-hand side on this screen, we've got some clouds in blue, okay, and they all contain a verb. And on the right, we've got some red clouds, and all of them contain a noun. So your job is to match the verbs with the appropriate noun to make a verb-noun phrase. Okay, I will give you some time to have a look and to consult with the people that you're with, and then we'll go through it together. Okay, let's go through them. How did you get on? Some useful noun phrases here, verb noun phrases for you, I think. Okay, the first one, to send. To send what? What's the noun that goes with to send? Yeah, we send an invitation. Send an invitation. And send, you can be in any format. So it may be like in this, the text, they sent them by post. Okay, but you could send it in an email, you could send it in a text message. Okay, whenever you ask someone to come to your party, you are sending an invitation. It doesn't matter how you send it. To throw. Okay, we have covered this a couple of times already in the lesson. We've heard it a couple of times. It is to throw a party. Throw a party. Very specific use of the word throw. Obviously, we also throw a ball. We throw something away. Okay? But here, we're not literally throwing anything, are we? Okay? But we use it to say we throw a party. It means to host a party, to organise a party. Yeah. Throw a party. To invite. To invite a guest. You invite guests. So the people who come to your party, they are your guests. You are the host of the party. You've organised it. And the people who come are your guests. So you invite a guest. To bake, you bake a cake. Okay, so yeah, when we talk about cakes, you can use make. You can make a cake as well, but we often use the verb bake instead. You bake a cake. You make it from scratch with the butter and the sugar and the flour. So you bake a cake. So anything that you make and then you sweet that you put into the oven. So bake a cake, bake cookies. To celebrate. So to celebrate a birthday. To celebrate means to make a fuss, mark an occasion. Okay? Bring everyone together to have fun, and help the person. Wish the person whose birthday is happy birthday. Okay? You can also have to celebrate an anniversary or to celebrate an engagement, celebrate your graduation. So any occasion that you organise to wish someone well or wish people well for a particular occasion. To rent, we rent an apartment. So to rent an apartment means we don't own the apartment ourselves. Someone else owns it and we pay them each month usually to live in the apartment. So a specific use of rent, when we're always talking about renting properties. You wouldn't use another verb instead of rent when you're talking about accommodation or property. And the last one, so there's only one choice left, to agree to a suggestion. Agree to. Okay. So quite self-explanatory. Someone suggests something or gives you some advice and you say, yes, I will do that. So in the reading, the grandmother suggested that the person sent the invitations by post. And the person said yes. The person agreed to do it. Agreed to do it. The verb to is important there. Okay? You don't agree a suggestion. Okay? So don't forget those little words in the phrasal verbs. Agree to. You agree to do something, or you agree to something. Oh, let's have a look. Think about the text now that we read. How old do you think the author of this text is? Think about what we read and what the person did, the author, the narrator of the text. We're not told We're not told directly how old the person is. But how old do you think the person is? Is it someone close to grandmother's age, or is it someone a lot younger? Well, obviously, the author refers to grandmother. Okay, so it's obviously the grandson or granddaughter of the 70-year-old whose party they're organising. And probably the way that the person approached this, there's evidence to suggest, I think, that the author is either a child or a teenager. Why do I say that? What examples can you remember from the text that would suggest the person is quite young? I think there are one, the person requested permission from parents to throw a surprise party. Okay, so the person didn't organise it themselves, and they weren't making the decisions about the party. There was going to be a party, and they spoke to their parents first. We don't know if it's male or female, do we? The author, the narrator. But yeah, the fact that they needed permission from the parents to throw the surprise party, which was the first suggestion, and also the thinking to send an email and not write by post. Yeah, so some hints there that the person is quite young. Question 2. What did the author's father mean when he said, after a certain age, people don't like surprises so much? After a certain age, people don't like surprises so much. What did he mean? Try and explain it in your own words to the people that you're with. What the father meant was that older people don't enjoy surprises in life as much as younger people. Do you agree with that? Do you think that's true in your experience? And if you think it is true, why? Why do you think older people don't enjoy surprises? Why? What might the reasons be? I'm not sure that I do agree with it, because don't we all like surprises? If you have a surprise, it makes you feel special, I think. So I'm not sure that I do agree with the statement, but you may agree with it. What do you think this phrase, a certain age, means in the question? A certain age. It's not a specific number. Okay, we wouldn't have a number, an age in mind. We're not talking 30, 40, 50 necessarily. But the inference by saying a certain age means that you are talking about someone relatively old, an older person. You're not talking about a teenager or someone in their 20s. So while there's no specific age, that's a certain age, it is telling us that they're referring to older people. And question 3, what is event management and why doesn't the author want to do that? Let's take the question in 2 parts. So what is event management? Right at the end, the author refers to event management. Can you describe it in your own words, what it is? Talk to the people and tell them what it is that you're with. Event management is the profession of organising events for people or companies. So you can hire a company to organise every single detail of your event or party. So they will deal with the invitations, they will deal with the food, the decoration, the venue, if you want to host your party somewhere else. And in the text that we saw, they will also come to your house if that's where the party is going to be held. Okay, so yeah, it's the professional job of actually organising parties and events. Why doesn't the author want to do that? Why don't they want that job? Well, she tells us the experience of organising the party for her grandmother was, what was the word? It means very tired? Exhausting. The party was exhausting for her to organise it. And probably it was 100 people, wasn't it? And it was a special birthday for her grandmother. So obviously she wants everything to go well. Okay, so I want you to have a think now about any event that you've organised or been involved in organising, help to organise. Did you find it exhausting or did you find it a lot of fun? Was it difficult to do or was it relatively easy? And hopefully not, but did anything go wrong on the day? Did something break? Did the weather change? Was someone sick? Did someone get the date wrong or the day? Have a think and talk to the people that you're with. For me, I have organised a few events, and my fear every time is not about the food, it's not about the weather. You know, I'm from the UK, we're used to weather changing very, very quickly. It's not about the music or the dancing. I know that I can create an event that people relax at and will enjoy. My fear all the time is that nobody will come, whether it's a personal party or professional event. So I know that's sounds a little bit strange because people always come. They always come, and I know they're coming. But just before the start time, when you're just waiting for the first person to arrive, the question in my head is, what if nobody comes? Thankfully, that has never, ever happened. So to practice more about some of the vocabulary that we've learnt today, and to practice some of the structures that we saw in the reading text, I would highly recommend that you spend some time after the class writing something, okay? Writing your own experience of an event, maybe that you've organised, helped to organise, or even an event that you've attended, an event or a party that you've attended. What was it like? Where was it held? Were the professional caterers or an events management company involved? And did anything go wrong? So really try and practice your writing after the class. That will also help consolidate your knowledge of the vocabulary. And so next time it will be easier for you to remember and talk about it. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. So just bear with me a second. So you should be able to see me again now. If any of you have any questions about any vocabulary that we covered you still weren't sure about, or any of the grammar, please feel free to ask a question now.
You have to raise your hand, then I'll unmute you and you can speak then. Please raise your hands if any of you have some questions. Huma, unmute your mic, then you would be able to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes,
Do you
what's the
have any question, Huma?
No, ma'am.
So, Ms. Donna, thank you very much for your time, and it was another impressive lesson from the series of uh, great lessons live from England. So, thank you very much for the time, and I'm thankful to the team of Learn English 365 as well that they spared the time and arranged this session with us. So, thank you very much to the students who attended the session and the principals, vice principals, and the teachers. Thank you very much, everyone. Take care of yourself. Have a nice weekend. Bye bye. Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum.